Have you ever encountered a situation which you thought you'd never surmount? You did eventually, which is why you're here today. But have you ever actually thought back to that event and wondered what got you through that? Happy morning, everyone. My name is Sadhvi, and today I want to delve into a word that we often hear yet rarely stop to fully understand: resilience. We often associate it with determination or the relentless pursuit of our goals despite obstacles. And while these are all important facets, resilience is much more profound. It's the quiet strength we summon to endure when life feels overwhelming. It's about refusing to give up when the odds are stacked against you. Resilience isn't about perfection, it's about perseverance. It's not about never falling, but about getting back up every single time. So, I want to take you on a journey, a deeply personal one that taught me what resilience truly means. 2 years ago, I was 12 years old. I was living what I thought was a perfectly normal life until one day, everything changed. My mom noticed something unusual: a slight posture shift when I was dancing Bharatanatyam. Concerned, she took me to a doctor, and after a series of tests and a bunch of x rays, I was diagnosed with adolescent idiopathic scoliosis. For those unfamiliar, scoliosis is a condition that causes the spine to curve sideways. Adolescent means that it occurs during the teenage years, and then idiopathic means that the cause is unknown. Hearing those words for the first time was a moment that altered my life. I remember being overwhelmed with a mixture of fear, shock, and confusion. What did this mean for my future? How would others perceive me? Would I be treated differently? But most importantly, would this become my new identity? In the days that followed, I chose to keep my diagnosis private, fearing judgment or being seen through a different lens. What I didn't realize then was that this challenge was different and would shape me in unimaginable ways. In those early days, my mom became my pillar of strength and support. She transformed into my researcher, guide, and advocate, consulting doctors, spending hours reading medical literature, and seeking out experts across various cities. The recommendations we received were inconsistent. Some said I should start physiotherapy, while others said we had to wait and see how it progressed. However, there was one consensus: if this progression continued, surgery was inevitable. Faced with this reality, my family and I made a choice. We would fight back. We would do anything possible before even considering surgery. So I began physiotherapy. For 6 months, my routine was grueling and monotonous. School in the morning, then physiotherapy in the evening straight from school. The exercises they taught me focused on strengthening my core, aiming and hoping to stabilize my spine. While my spine showed minimal improvement, something unexpected happened. I grew stronger, not only physically, but also mentally. I began to understand the value of consistency and showing up every day. I also learned how to celebrate even the smallest of victories. But life, as often as it does, threw another curveball. My condition worsened, and we sought advice from a specialist who prescribed a brace. Initially, I was hopeful, but that hope was more short-lived than you would think. The first brace I received was rigid, torturous, and suffocating. Imagine trying to live your day in something that felt like a prison. I couldn't walk, talk properly, or even breathe. Within days, I gave up on it. My spine continued to curve, and so did my fears about the future. After tireless research by my family, we found a spine specialist in a different city who prescribed a new brace, one more flexible and designed to allow movement. However, there was one catch. I had to wear the brace for 20 to 22 hours a day. 22 hours? It seemed impossible. And to add to this, I was given an insole to place in my left shoe as my condition had caused an imbalance in my hip bone. In those early days, I was unable to wear the brace for even 2 to 3 hours a day. It left bruises, which I still have, and caused extreme discomfort that seemed unbearable. I wanted to give up. But then I thought about my family, their sacrifices, their unwavering support. I just couldn't let them down. So gradually, I pushed myself. 2 hours turned to 4, and then to 6. Soon, I was able to wear the brace through the night. By the time of my next doctor's appointment, I was able to wear it for over 10 hours a day. When the doctor asked my mom about my progress, she truthfully replied 10 hours. He looked visibly skeptical. He told us that we could take an X-ray, but we can't expect any significant improvement at this rate. So we decided to take the X-ray. And what followed left the doctor stunned. The curve in my spine had decreased significantly. How had this happened? The answer lay in resilience. I hadn't just diligently worn the brace, but I had actively continued to strengthen my core even when I wasn't explicitly required to. I had taken ownership of my journey. That moment was a turning point for me. It taught me that resilience doesn't erase the struggles or make the journey easy. It's about facing the challenges that scare you head on, even when progress seems invisible. It's about showing up day after day, even when giving up feels like the easier option. There were countless moments where I wanted to quit. The pain, frustration, struggle, the slow progress, it all seemed like too much for a 13-year-old to be enduring. But I wasn't walking this path alone. My family's belief in me was my fuel to keep going. Their encouragement kept me going when my resolve wavered. Eventually, I told my friends, and I couldn't have been happier. Though they all took a while to process it, they were extremely supportive and didn't treat me differently at all. I know that whatever happens, I can count on my friends and family to be here with me. It also helps you be resilient when you have your own cheer squad there at every turn and setback waiting to cheer you on. I want to share with you a few well-known people across different fields who have been my source of inspiration. Each of them faced immense challenges, yet their unwavering spirit and determination turned adversity into strength. Their stories serve as powerful reminders that resilience isn't just about overcoming the hardships, but growing from them and inspiring others along the way. Maria Sharapova, a name synonymous with tennis excellence, embodies resilience in sports. At just 7 years old, she left her homeland Russia and moved to the United States, sacrificing the comforts of home to pursue her dreams. The challenges she faced were multifaceted: financial hardships, cultural adjustments, and the pressure of a competitive landscape. All obstacles that would have deterred a lesser spirit. Yet, through sheer perseverance, Maria won 5 Grand Slam titles, each a testament to her hard work and talent. Her journey was not without setbacks. Injuries and a 15-month suspension from professional tennis tested her mental fortitude. But instead of surrendering to the challenges, she harnessed them as catalysts for her growth. She returned to the court, stronger than ever, an embodiment of mental toughness and resilience. Her ability to adapt and transform adversity into motivation has not only defined her career, but inspired countless athletes across the globe. Transitioning from sports to activism, we have Malala Yousafzai, a beacon of hope in the fight for girls' education. Born in Pakistan, Malala grew up under the Taliban rule, where advocating for girls' rights was met with violence and oppression. Yet, at a very young age, she took a stand, risking everything to ensure that young girls could dream of an education. In 2012, Malala survived a brutal assassination attempt. Shot in the head by gunmen for her activism, many would have retreated into silence. But not Malala. Instead of letting fear dictate her future, she turned her pain into purpose. She became the youngest Nobel Prize laureate, using her platform to mobilize international attention to the importance of education for all. Her journey shows us that resilience isn't about surviving the hardships, but using our experiences to forge change and inspire others to join the fight. Next, let's turn our attention to Helen Keller, whose life story is a profound testament to the human spirit's resilience. Struck by an illness that left her both blind and deaf by the age of 19 months, Helen faced a world of silence and darkness that isolated her from the world around her. Yet, with the unwavering support of her teacher, Anne Sullivan, Helen taught herself how to communicate, ultimately breaking the barriers that confined her. She went on to become a renowned author and advocate for people with disabilities, working tirelessly for social justice and equality. She became the first deaf-blind person to earn a college degree. Her story shows us that resilience can manifest in many forms: the determination to learn, the courage to advocate for oneself and others, and the ability to inspire change. Helen's story serves as a shining example of how one person can turn their most formidable obstacle into a powerful movement. As we reflect on these extraordinary lives, we realize that resilience is a choice. It's about embracing life's challenges, learning from them, and using our experiences to empower and uplift others. Whether through sport, activism, or advocacy, Maria, Malala, and Helen show us that resilience is not a personal journey. It's a collective force that can drive social change and inspire generations. Today, my journey isn't even close to over. I have a few months or even years left of suspense to find out the results of my hard work. But the progress I've made gives me hope. If few months of determination could reduce the curve, imagine what a year's worth could do. When I reflect on my progress, I realize something profound. Resilience isn't just about overcoming one challenge. It's about carrying those lessons forward. Now, whenever life throws new challenges my way, I think back to this outcome. If I could face this challenge, one that scared me so much in the beginning, I can overcome anything. And I believe you can too. One quote that captures the essence of resilience is by Nelson Mandela. Don't judge me by my success. Judge me by how many times I fell and got back up again. This quote beautifully illustrates that true strength isn't measured by how easily we achieve our goals, but how we rise after facing difficulties. Resilience is about standing tall after every setback, learning from our failures, and refusing to be defeated by life's obstacles. Whether it's an athlete recovering from an injury, a student overcoming academic struggles, or a leader standing firm in the face of adversity, resilience is what transforms these obstacles into opportunities for growth. It's a mindset that allows us to embrace failures as stepping stones to success rather than a roadblock. In the end, success isn't about avoiding the hardships. It's about having the courage and determination to keep moving forward no matter how many times we stumble. Resilience isn't about perfection. It's actually quite the opposite. It's not about always making the right choices or succeeding on the first try. It's about commitment, about staying on path when the road feels impossible. It's about believing in your ability to make it through, no matter how daunting the odds are. You also have to remember that every cloud has a silver lining. For me, my silver lining was that I grew half an inch by partially straightening out the curve in my spine. So I want to leave you with this one thought. When life feels overwhelming and when quitting feels tempting, remember this: you're stronger than you think. The light at the end of the tunnel isn't a myth. It exists, and resilience is what will guide you there. Thank you.